All right. Well, thank you so much. Again, everyone, we're going to start the virtual farm tour portion of the session. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Joe. Go ahead and share your slides, and I will stop sharing mine.
Hey, y'all. Thanks so much for having me today. I'm Joe Reynolds from Love Cooperative Farm. We're located here in Mansfield, Georgia. We're about an hour east of Atlanta. And Everybody, can you see the slides okay? Kendra, can you see
Yes.
on the screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
So we are currently, we transitioned to become a worker-owned cooperative in 2021, and the five of us you see in this photo are the founding worker-owner farmers of Love Cooperative Farm. And we, all of us individually, had journeys into farming that are all a little different and became intertwined. Um, and we came together in 2021 to essentially business plan and develop a strategy around starting a farm on a brand new piece of land from scratch. Um, and part of our hypothesis was that five farmers that had been working on farms for 10 years or longer could really come together and really jumpstart a farm operation. And we were hoping to scale our production up to build some capacity. And to take a little bit of a sort of a background on Judith and myself, we're the two that started the original version of Love Farm in 2008 on lease land. And we The first property we were on, we actually did not certify organically and began to sort of set up operations and market, um, uh, without having the certification, and that worked fine, and wasn't a barrier to access for meeting customers, but it always was a little bit challenging when somebody would ask about, were we organic? What, or like, how we would have to define a little more about how we were using practices that were in line with sustainability or growing organically. And um, we decided to become certified organic in 2011 when we actually moved to a second farm. We moved our lease to another farm. And there was a requirement for that property for us to be certified organic. And um, and so we definitely had an impetus to do it. And it also, what I really loved about it initially is that it helped me answer this really complex question pretty simply. Instead of having a lot of, not that discussion points aren't important, but instead of having a ton, we really just were able to answer that question simply. Yes, we are certified organic. And reasons that we've chosen to continue to be certified organic is that we really think the organic systems plan has made us better farmers. And so far as elaborating on our farm systems, documenting them really well, and especially now in this business where there are currently four of us, but there were five of us that are worker owners of Love Cooperative Farm. It not only creates a lot of transparency with our customers, it also helps create transparency amongst ourselves and sort of the agreements we have on how to operate and run our farm business. I'm going to tell you all a little bit about our worker-owned cooperative. Some of the things that are a part of it are that we all have equal ownership of the business, one owner, one vote, and we opted to use a consensus decision-making model, which does take us a little bit of a little bit of time to get to an overall decision. But once everybody's in the majority of agreement, we're able to move on things and get them done very quickly. We also decided that each worker owner would have a unique area of management on the farm, and that's part of what I'll highlight in the virtual farm tour. And we have a little redundancy by working kind of in teams where like another worker owner is kind of a backup as a team overlap um, for that the worker owner that's managing that area. A little bit about our staff. We've been growing over time. We have 7 full-time people that work here with us. And additionally, we contract out with 3 incredible seasonal H-2A workers from Honduras. And then also we have about 10 part-time marketing and admin and seasonal staff that join us. So we're a team of 20 total with all of us combined. This is part of our farm. So we have 70 acres of land here in Mansfield, spread across 2 properties, and they both had different histories around the way they had been managed, but neither of them were organic farms before we started on them. So, like I said, we're about an hour east of Atlanta. And the way we got access to this land is we're doing a really unique and new lease to purchase program called the Working Farms Fund, which is a part of a larger nonprofit called the Conservation Fund, where this nonprofit acquires the farm on a farmer's behalf, leases. Once they identify the farmers that apply to their program, they would purchase a piece of land. They lease it to us for a period of 3 to 5 years, and then that relationship begins to culminate into an agricultural conservation easement on the property to protect it. That's kind of their mission work, is to conserve land, and then they also sell it to us at that conservation price as well too. So when we buy this property in a year, it'll be the first time any of the 4 of us that are worker owners now have ever farmed on a piece of land that was our own. We currently have 8 acres in production, and we're going to work on growing an additional 2 acres that we'll bring online in the fall of 2025. We set up some high tunnels. We've got 6 of those. They're 30 by 96 high tunnels. Most of the production is organic vegetables with some fruit that we grow. We grow some annual fruit, and we also have some perennials. And of course, we grow cover crops. And then additionally, we grow certified organic cut flowers in a half an acre block that we rotate around in the crop plan. And then we also have around a 6,000 square foot, pretty nice greenhouse where we grow certified organic transplants for retail sales. So seedlings for home gardeners. And then we also contract out with other farmers to produce certified organic seedlings for their farms as well. Additionally, we decided to become a certified organic handler last year to sort of strengthen our system and to continue to be like in compliance with the National Organic Program and the evolving regulations. And the reason we decided to do this organic handler certification is because we buy in other certified organic crops to be able to offer to some of our customers through our CSA program. And we also offer some things through an additional store that we have. And then we also offer some not certified organic crops like eggs and pastured meat to our CSA customers as well. And we wanted to define a better system to to make sure that we were elaborating on how things weren't commingled and how we were handling those different products in our system. Additionally, we're USDA GAP certified, and we're working on a fair food certification through the Fair Food Standard Council to also sort of document some of our labor practices on the farm. So we transitioned this. Like I said, neither of these properties were certified organic when we started on them. Luckily, through working with the Working Farms Fund, when they acquired these 2 properties, we were able to get for each property, we were able to get an affidavit For the first property, we were able to get an affidavit of no prohibited prohibited substances, like for 3 years and beyond. And the second property had been hayfield prior to that and had had some prohibited substances applied to it. So we were able to get an affidavit letter of when that last application happened. So when we first became certified organic here at the new property in early 2022, we were able to bring half of our farm into to be certified organic. And then the second property, we essentially just grew cover crops at until we were able to that 3 years had passed from that affidavit letter, and we were able to get that acreage certified organic as well. And y'all, some of y'all have already have organic certification because you've had it for a while or you're applying for it. But just as a review of the process, with an organic systems plan, that also culminates into an inspection to do a verification of your organic systems plan and final review to become certified organic. One thing we didn't think about was becoming transitional organic on that second property, and we might have done that if we had a little more awareness of that program, but I think that's another great opportunity as well. So this is actually the day we got our organic certificate. This is the five of us in front of also we got a certificate of occupancy for this wash pack facility that's behind us as well. It definitely is the heart of our farm in many ways because so much flows through it. We do a lot of work in here, and as you can tell, we're very enthusiastic to be organic. This is Russell Hondard. He is one of the founding worker owners. He's also a mentor in the SE-TOPP program as well. He was instrumental in us setting up our wash pack area and making sure that we were in compliance with organic standards, and also that we were in a good position to get USDA GAP certified as well too. And he just brought a gigantic amount of knowledge from his past experience to help set up this wash pack. He worked with the University of Vermont Extension to do like a full design of it and to think about the flow of things and how there might be more efficiency inside here. And he has since decided to leave the co-op as his family was growing, but very instrumental. He's cleaning our AZS rinse conveyor here as well, which we use to not only wash produce, but we also use it to, we use the high pressure system on it to wash, and then later we sanitize hard surfaces to keep our bins clean. So I told you each of us have an area of management. Russell managed the wash pack. Our farm has two 12 by 24 coolers that are basically what that building was designed around. And we use a CoolBot system. The price of entry was right. It was pretty inexpensive. It's pretty easy to change those AC units out as well too if anything's failing. And they've held up pretty well for us. We have a cool cooler and a warm cooler where we have a list of crops that are meant to go in each temperature setting. And then Russell is an everything on wheels kind of guy. Everything in this wash pack is on wheels, so it can be modular in any which way you want it to be, to make it work for receiving food, washing, packing, for the flower team to bring in blooms and then pull them out and do bunching and bouqueting later on that day. We have U-boats that all things that are harvested in are transported around on, and then even orders that are set up for delivery for the next day are laid out on those U-boats. So all of it flows pretty smoothly. Insofar as equipment, we have, in addition to that AZS rinse conveyor, we have two big wash tubs with a bubbler system. We wash with well water that we test annually. We also use a modified washing machine, a Speed Queen, a really nice machine to do that, to spin those greens dry. And then part of our organic handler practices are that this is a dedicated organic space. The only things that are certified organic are in this space. And then we do also use as cleaning, all of your inputs you'll have to get approved, like from soap to any sanitizing agents, and we use Sanidate 5.0. It's really it's OMRI approved, and is something that is really effective at getting things nice and clean. So that's all stuff that we document in our organic systems plan. And then we also have a pretty big greenhouse. As I said, we grow transplants for other growers. And we also grow for a big retail plant sale. And then we produce our own seedlings as well, too, for our organic system. And we built the first 2/3 of the 6,000 square foot greenhouse ourselves. This is actually one of the first poles going in. And Monica is not in these pictures, but you'll see her later on down the road. She's the worker owner that manages the greenhouse side. She also manages the cut flowers too. And this is a really awesome group that built the third bay because, man, it was really tough to build those first two. And we were like, if we can get someone else to do it, that would be great. And these guys at Eco Paradigm helped us out so much. But essentially, it's totally like this part of the greenhouse is all heat control. Like we have electricity to it. There's as much automation as possible. I'll sort of jump down to the bottom. So like we have automated heating and cooling. That even like an automated control panel raises up and down the sides of the greenhouse when it needs to, based on the temperature. We also have anything else automated in there? We have, lots of electricity running fans and keeping things cool and really trying to deal with the fluctuations that greenhouses can have. We also have two types of tables. I'm sorry, I don't have a picture of these, but one is a static system where they're like, hard surface tables on top of cinder blocks. And that worked really good for us in the beginning, but we invested in a rolling table system that does a better job of utilizing more of the undercover space in the past year, and got a kit to do that through. We got one of those organic marketing development grants to be able to flesh out a little of our equipment supplies around our certified organic seedlings. We also have an unheated 1,400 square foot propagation house that's primarily a workspace and a storage area where like inputs are kept. It's another thing that we document. When you get inspected, when in your organic systems plan, they're going to want to see that you have all of your inputs approved and that you know where they're stored and that you can identify that to your inspector as well. We do soil mixing we buy a pot, like a pre-made potting soil, but we also mix in a little additional blood meal into it to add a little bit of fertility to it. And then for our big plant sale where we sell like 3x3 inch pots, we additionally will mix our own soil ingredients to do that. And we use a cement mixer to do that. And we also have vacuum seeders for all the seeding for plug trays and wind strips. This is Demetrius. He runs the field side of our operation. This is during the eclipse. They're out transplanting summer squash and really having a good time doing all that fun planting under sort of the celestial change that was happening in front of us. We do use some plastic mulch on our farm. And so that's another thing that we have to make sure that's approved for our system. We use the white on black plastic and also reflective plastic mulch as well for different crops. We don't use it on everything, but we do use it on some things to help us control weeds and keep moisture in the soil. We also grow a bunch of cover crops as well too. This is Demetrius mowing down some sorghum Sudan grass as well. And really what we wanted to do is invest in a tractor-based system as much as possible, and really invest in as much mechanization as we could afford. This is involved 2 diesel tractors. One of them's bigger, 100 horsepower, and the other 76 horsepower. We also bought a cultivating tractor as well, and we're kind of in the process of trying to acquire another small tractor just to keep pulling all this array of equipment that's here as well too. I won't go over all these things. Some things that have been really nice for us is we were able to get a grant from a nonprofit to buy a no-till seed drill primarily to seed cover crops with and to minimize the amount of soil disturbance that we need to do for sowing cover crops. We also bought We decided to not do a rototiller, to invest in a rototiller. So we bought this Perfecta 12 field cultivator to do a lot of our secondary tillage. We do use a plastic mulch, bed shaper, and a bare ground bed shaper based on the crops that are being seeded. And we've tried to do everything we can with a tractor, from field prep to seeding to weeding to planting, even and to do a little bit of harvesting. We invested in a little bit of equipment around that as well too. And all the irrigation is done with well water, primarily through drip, but for some of the direct seeded stuff, we use overhead irrigation. We also pick a lot of food. This is some of our crew during a cabbage harvest. And That's actually the part of the operation that I run. I do the harvesting and I work with Judith on some of the sales side, but essentially I pick out the crops that we give to the CSA weekly, and I make a sales plan, a plan for what to offer various customers of ours as well too. Monica, this is not Monica, this is Jessie, her assistant manager. We actually invested in bringing some more people into assistant management positions to help strengthen our overall team, but also to create just a little more redundancy in our overall team system. But we grow a lot of cut flowers too that we offer to both our CSA members through a flower share and also to wholesale customers as well too. But things that we focus a lot on are really trying to minimize the weight people carry. And then we also try to minimize the step count that we have too. So we have drive lanes, and we also have pretty small harvest bins to try to make the weight not so much for people to be able to carry things in and out. Our beds some are 200 feet, some are 400 feet, so it can be quite a ways to take something. And we also have a wagon as well to help with big picks. We do as much field bunching and field pinting as we can. And we also field pack directly into boxes for wholesale customers as much as we can. And this is a big part of the labor on our farm. We spend about $250,000 in addition to us in addition to the worker owners, to pay people to do things here. They do all the jobs, but a lot of that labor budget goes to picking, packing, washing, and packing vegetables. We use some pretty rudimentary equipment. Besides a few of those tractor items, we have a few harvest vehicles, and maybe like the genius thing that we were actually turned on to by the University of Vermont Extension was to do a bin in a bin harvest system. So we have a bottom bin that we, when it touches the ground, that's its only place to be, and we don't put it back inside the harvest vehicles or back in the wash pack. And we have harvest bins that are insert bins that go into there, so that the bins that touch the ground never actually touch any of our food safety contact surfaces. So they never go, the only clean bins that are inserted go on top of tables. They go in our coolers. They go in our delivery vehicles, and it helps keep things clean, but also helps with some of our food safety SOPs. And then marketing, primarily our biggest market is a CSA. We have about a 400 member CSA, and Judith, who's our other worker owner partner, and also my wife, and helped me set this presentation up. Thank you, Judith. She's in the other room. She does all of the communication with CSA customers, make sure that we have staffing in place, and then also does a lot of invoicing for all these folks, and keeps the schedule up and going. We also deliver to restaurants and wholesale customers, primarily in Atlanta. This is Russell delivering to one of our favorite customers, Farm Burger, based here in Atlanta. Monica, who runs the greenhouse. So we another sales thing that we do, like I said, we grow seedlings for two big annual events that we have on the farm. We do a big spring plant sale and a big fall plant sale here on our farm, where we grow a wide variety of certified organic seedlings that are a mix, of everything from tomatoes to peppers to lettuce to edible flowers, culinary herbs, lots of really unique things, all in 3 by 3 inch plantable fertile pots. And we market those here at the farm, but we also go to farmers markets for a couple of times to meet customers. And then, Monica also stays in communication with all of our farmers that do contracting out for their organic seedlings. So we aspired initially to do almost like a 50-50 mix of CSA and wholesale, thinking that we would scale pretty quickly to 10 to 15 acres. We did not scale as rapidly as we planned, and I think it was all for the better. And we were probably more of like a 70% CSA, 30% wholesale marketing farm. We have been able to, because of the cut flowers, to be able to work with flower shops, and we're working on continuing to grow more wholesale partnerships for our crops as well. So, quick photo of our crew. This is them about to go out and pick okra. It's a big crop for us in August. It's one of the tougher crops that can take the heat here and anywhere in the Southeast. I'm sure many of y'all are in hotter areas than we are, but our team, we always tell them to get their armor on, suit up, and be prepared. And I thought this might be a nice segue slide for just a little bit of a high overview of some of the organic record keeping that we do. So just a list for all the crops that we do here as well, everything from having an approved crops list that we update annually with QCS, also our crop plan, field maps, soil tests, various things here as well, from approved input list to any pest application records, harvest records, invoices, SOPs. I won't read them all out loud, but I did want to highlight some of the things that were specific to some production systems. So for the cut flowers, the seeds and organic seed search is really important. There aren't as many varieties of certified organic cut flowers out there as there are vegetables. So we want to make sure that we have strong documentation around that. Monica does all this and does everything from the seed ordering to and trying to source everything certified organic, if possible, and then documenting the 3 places that we looked if we can't find it there. Also inventorying those seeds when they come in and verifying that they match what the invoice, the seed receipt that we receive from the seed company say as well too. And of course, if they're not certified organic, we look for the 3 places and then we verify that they're non-treated, non-GMO. Planting stock's another thing that's hard to find certified organic, in particular around bulbs and corms and things like that. So just making sure that you're doing that verification around that they're organic if you can get them, and then they're non-GMO, non-treated, and having that in your record keeping as well. The greenhouse crops, once again, we grow for other farmers, so we want to make sure that our transplant list is up to date. We want to make sure that we've been looking for, or that we're keeping up with our organic. We're making sure that we're doing the organic seed search and keeping all the documentation requirements to keep our organic certificate in good shape, so that way we can transfer it on to our customers there as well too. And then on the handler side, definitely keeping up with any incoming things like other organic products that we buy in. We want to make sure that they're on our approved handler list, and that we're also doing verification that people's organic systems are up to date as well, and doing appropriate labeling and storage of those crops as well too. And maybe just a real quick highlight on how we chose the certifier that we work with. For me, it was really important to work with somebody that other farmers in my area had experience working with, and that I could ask questions, and they could help me if there were gaps in my knowledge around the organic systems plan or a question that I was asked. And that's why we ultimately chose to certify with Quality Certification Services, and I've had a really good relationship with them for the last 14 years. And I appreciate them. And that's all I got.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Joe. Just a wealth of information. I have a bunch of questions, and I'm sure our attendees do as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the recording here. So if you are watching this recording, of course, you can reach out to us at any time at SCTOPP at foginfo.org, and then we will open up for Q&A. All right, we're back, and thank you again, everyone, for joining us at our event today. Again, this was our first virtual farm tour and mentorship networking event. I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Juan Carlos Rodriguez, to give us a little information about the TOPP program. JC.
Thank you, Kendra. And certainly, I also want to thank everyone who participated in today's webinar. This is, as Kendra was saying, our first virtual farm tour. I hope everyone has gained a lot of knowledge and information from Joe and Judith sort of journey. And none of this would be possible without the support of the United States Department of Agriculture, the USDA, and the Transition to Organic Partnership Program, TOPP. TOPP is a program of the USDA Organic Transition Initiative, and it is administered by the USDA Agricultural Marketing Services, AMS, and of course, the National Organic Program. In our region, the Southeast Transition to Organic Partnership Program, SCTOPP, we're focusing on providing farmer-to-farmer mentorship, community building. Of course, we're providing technical assistance and training like this particular webinar today. We are collecting some data to make sure that all of the efforts and activities that together with all of our partners throughout the region are making an impact and helping farmers. So we'll be collecting data regarding to some of those impacts and success stories. And of course, we're also trying to expand on the workforce that will support the organic industry. So doing workforce training and developing as well. But if you want to learn more about SCTOPP, we invite you to visit our website or use the QR code on this slide. We also want to remind everyone of the numerous resources that are available to you if you visit our website. And on this slide, we provided some examples of some of the things that we're doing. We have virtual organic office hours. You can find more by going to the website on this slide. But you can also contact us at the SCTOPP at foginfo.org to find more about those organic office hours. And just more information about upcoming events and resources. Once again, we thank everyone for joining us today.